Okay, solo stakers, wake up. Next up, we have Radek. Welcome.
Hi, hello, and my talk will be about solo staking. So what kind of things, what kind of problems you have when you decide to solo stake? And what kind of things you need to think about when solo staking, which you don't even need to consider when, for example, doing like pool staking, like liquid staking or something like that. This is also based, this all is based on my own experience, and this is also mainly targeted towards like staking at home. So you can be solo staking, like buying a VPS somewhere and like on AWS and solo staking there. But that's not what I will be focusing on, and this is just like the purest version of staking, which is solo staking on your own hardware at your own home. So this is what we will briefly discuss today: hardware, software, security, connectivity, ease of use, best practices, couple of stories from my own experience, and a list of tools that are helpful when solo staking. And then if we have time, some questions and answers. So this is the not even a complete list of things that you need to think about when solo staking. And you need to think about all of them to do it effectively. So first of all, what are the reasons to do it? Why are you solo staking at home? Then is it like, do you want to solo stake, or maybe do you want to do like pool staking, like liquid staking? Once you decided and answered those two questions, then okay, so which hardware, which software? How do I make it secure, because I'm responsible for everything? How do I make it online 100% of the time? How do I connect to it if I'm away? What happens when power goes out, for example? How do I manage my own keys? What about privacy? Do I want the whole world to know that I'm solo staking, and how much? Or do I try to isolate it as much as possible and do not broadcast that? Then to MEV or not to MEV, we had a presentation like two presentations ago about MEV in detail. And then also randomness. Solo staking is like kind of lottery. So do you embrace it, or do you try to minimize the randomness? And the last is the taxes. Death and taxes is something that you always can count on. So first, reasons to do it. So why solo stake? Why solo stake at home? Number one reason for probably most people or everybody is money. You want to stake to earn the rewards, and the rest is probably secondary, but it's important nonetheless. So do you want to do it because you want the network be healthier, be more decentralized? Do you want to contribute to client diversification, which we saw in the previous presentation, which is also important in terms of the network and the whole protocol? Do you want to be part of the staking community, or like Ethereum community in general, and an active participant at that? Or do you, again, talking about the whole protocol, do you want to make it more secure and stronger by like giving your own one single brick or a few? Or do you also do it for fun, because all the things that I mentioned here are fun for you, and you also like to tinker with hardware, with software. You maybe like some kind of some degree of randomness, and it's all fun for you, and that's why you want to do it. I probably have like a little bit of all of that. That's why I'm solo staking. Another question that you need to answer before solo staking is that, do you want to do it yourself, or do you want to go just like pool stake, and why? Solo staking, for all the reasons that I just mentioned. Pool staking could be that you don't have enough ETH to solo stake. You don't have like 32. Now it's better because you can start solo staking with 8. You can start soon, maybe like beginning of next year. You can start even with 1 ETH. So that could be one reason. You might want to do it, but you don't have maybe enough ETH. Or you don't like the risk. You want to have predictable income. You don't want that randomness, and that's why you go for pool staking rather than solo staking. Or you don't want to tinker with hardware or software. You don't want to have everything up to date, and you just want to set it and forget it, and that's it. So the first important thing, once you decided and answered those questions for yourself, and you decided that you want to do it yourself at home, so the question is what hardware to choose. And this is just like some of the setups that people have at home. So this is the setup. This is the things to consider. So for optimal performance, like the price is around from $700 to $2,000, depending if you want to have something that can run a node and a validator, or something that is really powerful and future-proof for a few years ahead. Then you're probably closer to like 2,000. A really good setup can be like, I think, like around $1,000 for solo staking. So you need to do a cost-benefit analysis for yourself. So if I pay $1,000 today, then what kind of rewards can I expect, and when will I break even? And after that, when will I start earning on top of what I already paid for hardware? So there is a staking rewards calculator that you can find here. You enter, and you can do it also for liquid staking, for different protocols, and so on. So I chose Ethereum, run Ethereum validator yourself, 32 ETH, and then after 1 year you get, if you see it, like 1.08 ETH on average, because it varies a lot, but on average you get 1.08 ETH, so it's around $2,000 in today's prices. So you break even basically in around 6 months. After 6 months, you start earning on top of what you paid for hardware, and maybe you win a lottery a few times and hit those like large block rewards. So that's first one about hardware. And you also need to think about hardware lifecycle management. So how long will this run for you? If it's $700 or like an old laptop that you have, maybe you will need to change that and upgrade it after a year. If you go for something more expensive, then it might work for you for like a couple years or even more. So recommendation would be to go with 32 gigs of RAM, 4 terabytes. 4 terabytes is probably an overkill from today's point of view, but if you don't want to upgrade in a year or a little bit more maybe, then I think 4 is reasonable. For now, 2 terabytes is also enough. CPU is not that important as long as it's not some shitty stuff from a few years ago. And googly eyes, because googly eyes are good for everything, and it just looks better if you have them. So that's the recommendation. You don't need to do it. Now, and this is my bad boy, and I don't have googly eyes, unfortunately. Mine is a little bit beefier. Mine is 64 gigs, 4 terabytes, 12 cores, but no googly eyes. So it's not really according to my own recommendation. Now that you have hardware, the next thing is software. And here, it wasn't the case like a year ago, where it was really hard to run a validator and a node on your own. You really had to be like a sysadmin and to tinker with all the stuff, to download all the packages manually, configure everything, install all like the whole system from scratch, secure the system from scratch, and get the node software, the validator software manually, make them talk to each other and so on. So it was a lot of work, and it could break in many places if you didn't know what you were doing. Now there's a lot of good software packages that are almost like one-click software or set it and forget it. DAppNode is especially user-friendly. You just make a few selections during the wizard at the beginning, and then you can even choose like auto-update all the software, and it will keep everything updated on its own. But also DAppNode is very simple, and I used it for a long time, but I switched to ETH Docker, and this is my #1 recommendation at the moment, because it's also very easy to set up, almost as easy as DAppNode, but it gives you much more control of what you can do, tinker with some settings, easier and faster, maybe a little bit to start and stop everything. So once you know and you're comfortable with the software, you know how nodes, validators work, talk to each other, what are the optimal settings, and you want to be more in control, you should go with ETH Docker. If you want to just like do it once and not touch it any longer, then DAppNode is a good one. And a few others, Rocket Pool, if you want to run nodes with less than 32 ETH, and a couple more newcomers, relative newcomers, is Ethereum and Avado, which are also good ones for validation. And NiceNode is a really, really good one, but they also only have a validator, not validator, they have running a node, but no staking node validator yet, but they have it in plans, so this can be a nice newcomer in the near future. So this is software and things that you need to think about in terms of software. So how hands-on do I want to be? Then you need to be able to have all the dashboards to see how your node is performing. Is it working well? Is it missing attestations? Your validator, do you have enough memory? Is everything synced and so on? So all the dashboards, everything that you might need is in ETH Docker, in DAppNode, so you have the full visibility of what's going on. You also can set up alerts when things go bad, like your validator goes down, and then you get immediately an alert that something is happening and you need to go and fix it. So yeah, the recommendation, the easiest to use is DAppNode. Best combination of ETH and user control is ETH Docker. Security challenges. So this is another one. So what do you need to think about when solo staking? So hacking and theft, this is always a security risk with crypto, malware and phishing attacks. Wallet security, key management, you need to manage all your keys yourself. The staking keys, the keys for withdrawing, for everything. Authentication, and also like a security of your validator and node. So do you open the ports to the whole world so that others can connect as well? You might want to do it if you want to connect yourself with a VPN remotely, but it's an additional risk that you are putting. How to have the system up to date all the time, how to prevent hacking, theft, phishing, and so on. Wallet security, wallet separation. Do you ever use the wallet that has the keys for the validator, or do you just set it up once and never even touch that wallet, and it's impossible to hack that because you never use it, it's somewhere offline, and it's safe there. But there are a lot of validators that are set up with a wallet that is just like daily active on Ethereum, meaning that it's probably someone's like hot wallet, which is absolutely not the way to do it. Key management, authentication, another thing that you need to think about. The next thing to think about is network. So if you're staking at home, it means that you have probably like home level internet connection quality. It's not like office quality in the office building where they have many failovers, backups, and so on. For example, at one of my apartments that I lived at, every day at like 3:45 a.m. or something like that, the internet went down always for 2 minutes because, I don't know, they figured out that everybody's sleeping at that point, and they probably restarted something, or just like, yeah, just in case, I don't know. But at 3:45 a.m. every day, it was gone for a few minutes. So it's not good when you have a validator running, because every time it happens, you need to catch up with your validation, with your node. So this is not the way to go. So you need to think, if your connection is good enough, do you have any failover? Do you have any backup? If your network goes down, if it goes down for a longer period of time, what do you do then? Or if your power goes down, does it mean that your internet also goes down? Do you have a power backup even for like a few minutes? But because maybe usually it's like temporary. Usually the power is not gone for hours. Do you have the UPS to run your system for a few minutes or for half an hour? So these are the things that you need to take into account, and also quotas and limits. At some areas and in different countries, you might have some relatively low limits of traffic that you can have in a month. I don't have that problem, and the internet connection doesn't reset anymore every day, so it all goes well. But cost also is very good for me, and also I use it every day, so it's not like I paid on top of what I need to pay. But these are all the things that you need to think about, because maybe you need to upgrade your internet connection if you want to run a validator at home. Then keys, not your crypto. Where do you store them? Do you store them offline? Do you store them online? Do you use the multisig? Do you have a hit by a bus scenario? So if something happens to you, does anybody has access to your keys? Does anybody know what to do with them, where to find them, how to unstake what you have staked, and so on? Privacy, I mentioned briefly at the beginning. So do you want people to know that you are staking or not? Do you use like a completely fresh wallet to fund 32 ETH to start validating? Or do you just like fund it from your main browser so that everybody can see that you are funding, that you are staking, that you are a solo validator? And if you want to have a fresh wallet, how do you fund it? Do you go through, I don't know, Binance or Coinbase or whatever else? Then you will not see it on Etherscan who funded that, but then you need to trust that Binance or Coinbase will never be hacked, and nobody will learn that this is your address and this is your validator. So you need to trust those centralized exchanges. So there's a lot of things to think about security from the solo staking point of view. Now, to MEV or not to MEV. I think that the previous, or the one before the presentation, was clear enough that if you don't MEV and you do solo staking, then it doesn't make sense, because they are not getting a really large and ever larger percentage of rewards, which is right now about 25%. But like the number of blocks which are MEV boosted, these are the yellow ones, and it's only growing. So you need to enable MEV, and these are pros and cons. I will not go through all of them. We don't have enough time. But also then, if you decide that you want to MEV, the question after that is to off-act or to not off-act. So do you want to use all the MEV boosters, even those who are censored, so the ones that do not include all the blocks because of some governments telling them that you have to block this and that address, you have to block this pool or whatever else. So this is the percentage of censored blocks, the green one, and it is better. It was much worse not long ago. The green ones are not censored. So if you care about like the Ethereum and the ecosystem, then you probably also care that it is decentralized and it is open and that it is not censored. That's the whole idea of the blockchain, that this is not censored. So my choice is to use MEV, but to use only the MEV boosters that are not censored. So that's my recommendation in terms of MEV. And then randomness. A really part of solo staking is randomness. Do you embrace it and play the lottery? Will I get a big reward? Will I get a small reward? Will I get a block 2 months from now? Will I get a block maybe a year from now? Or maybe like in a month from now, I will get 4 blocks. Unlikely, but possible. And then how high would the rewards will be? Will it be 0.02 or will it be like 2 ETH? And there's a website, Lucky Staker, which gives the current probability of getting a block. So 0.82 is the probability of getting a block proposal today. So in days to proposal, on average is 122 days. And the probability is going down because there are more and more validators. So at the beginning, it was 35% was to have a block mined that day, but it diminished very rapidly. Now it's about 0.82, meaning you get a block every couple months, which in reality is a little more because some of the validators are not active. So the randomness is a big factor, and this is randomness continued. It is especially important if you only have one validator, because then you don't have that evening out factor if you run like 10 validators. You only have one validator and you either win or you lose. So if it's fine with you, if you like the lottery and you play the lottery every day like with this one staker and it's part of that fun, it's what you're doing, then that's cool. If not, then you can use something like, I don't know, Rocket Pool validator, and then use the smoothing pools where everybody gets their ETH into a pool and all the rewards are shared equally among each other. This means that you are removing the risk of not getting the blocks, but you're also removing the chance that you will get a high reward, because if you get a high reward, it will be shared with everybody. So you need to answer to yourself if you want that or not. So randomness in my case was that in the last 122 or 30 days, I got 4 block proposals, which is much higher. This is like 1.5% chance of happening. So I was winning the lottery. I was really happy about it. But the bad part of randomness is that 2 times I was at a conference like today, and my validator went down. And in those 2 times, my validator only went down 2 times. And in those 2 times, I had a block proposal, which I missed. So, and that had like 0.38% chance. So I'm both lucky and even more unlucky. So if it's fine with you, then it's fine. If not, you might want to choose the smoothing pools where you are not nervous, but also not ultra happy when a block proposal happens. Wrapping up. Okay, so wrapping up. This is probably one of the last, and then just like rapid fire with a few slides. Taxes. You need to think about taxes, understand the obligations. Varies by country. A great tool for that is Rodkey, makes it 10% easier. It is a portfolio management, but it also works really, really well with staking. It gives you a list of all the rewards and everything else so that you just export it and give it to your accountant, which you also need to have the one that needs to know crypto. And this is like one slide recommendation, summary recommendation. Stake at home, yes, stake at home, that's my recommendation. For now, 16 gigs, probably 32 is a good recommendation. Sorry, that's a mistake. And 4 terabytes, and that will keep you for probably a couple years at least. ETH Docker, DAppNode, Lighthouse for consensus, Besu or Reth for execution, MEV, yes, OFAC, no. Set up alert system so that you get the notification that something is happening with your node. Don't ignore security, embrace randomness, either enjoy it or smooth it out, and don't just do it for the money, and also engage with community. And now just resources. for you to just consider a few seconds per slide. That's it. Resources, so a great community and resource ETHStaker. You will find everything there, both on their website and also especially on subreddit ETHStaker. You can ask any questions. There are many helpful people. Client diversity, we saw that. I'm doing my thing in terms of diversification. I'm running with this one, 0%. So I'm doing as much as possible for diversification. When merge gives you all the important info about upcoming next steps, major next steps and upgrades to Ethereum. Beacon chain is like Etherscan for beacon chain with all the stats of all the validators. Rocket Pool, they have a great like resource on how to set up the node, not just for Rocket Pool, but any node. Lucky Staker is how often you can propose that. Staking calculator, how much you can expect in terms of average rewards. Portfolio management, and a few as well, which we already mentioned, like MEVWatch, MEVBoostPix, and Stake from Home Gallery, Twitter, hashtag stake from home. If you want this presentation or these resources or have any questions, DM me at velvet_shark on Twitter. I can send it to you or answer any questions. I'll probably put it somewhere on Twitter as well after this, but it could be tomorrow or the day after. So that's it, and we probably don't have time for quick Q&A.
No, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, I expected that.
Probably catch Radek outside if you have specific
Cool, yeah.
questions, so.
Thanks a lot.